welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Carl from Sweden, and this is Hot Bant Control. We are free of the sticky tentacled clutches of Sowing Mycospawn in Legacy. Troll of Khazad-dûm also just banned. This is my first league since that ban update happened. And what I'd like to do is put some freaking lands into play and have them stay there, and then cast cool cards with them. Something that has not been legal since last summer. This is the first of 3 decks from Carl from Sweden. He wanted to see a lot of control on the channel, and I'm always happy to oblige that. He wanted a Bant deck of my design, a Bug deck of my design, and then whatever I want to do. And this is the first of 3. They'll be spread out over the next few weeks. Lots of Bug in the queue from other people. Don't worry. Bug Beans will hit as soon as I could play Rakshas's Bargain. I'm ready. Don't worry. I know about the card. Onto this deck. So it's mostly Bant. This is not Hot Bant. Traditionally, when I've called a deck Hot Bant, it has like Madeskin Boo or some actual red cards in it. There's 2 Pyroblasts in the sideboard and 1 Volcanic Island to cast them. Not a huge red splash, mostly just pure traditional Bant. The goal of this deck is to survive the early turns and then have way more cards than your opponent moving forward. I decided not to make this a Beanstalk deck, even though that shell is there. It's well established. There will be plenty of Beanstalks on the channel to come. I wanted to explore other more traditional routes of card advantage. We've got Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, the boy, Teferi Time Raveler, Teferi can bounce Snapcaster Mage for extra card advantage. Some new stuff like Tamiyo, great early source of card advantage, early source of pressure for a deck like this one that doesn't play a lot of that. And the boy, Jace the Mind Sculptor, let's go. Threw one of these in here, feeling spicy. Legacy got the bare minimum bans to take the foot off the neck. That means Jace the Mind Sculptor is playable again, right? Right. Anyway, here's Jace the Mind Sculptor. My plan to survive the early turns, we've got all the good removal, Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, 1 Wrath of the Skies, 5 forces in the deck, 4 wills, 1 negation. I tried to build 1 endurance into the deck, but I just couldn't get enough green cards in to support it while also making sense for the rest of the deck. But the cool thing about playing a Consigned in Memory and 2 counterspells, actual counterspell, is once you get to turn 2, you don't need Force of Will to be your interaction anymore, which is something that a lot of Legacy decks don't actually have. Just a hard counter that you can spend some mana to play. And I like counterspell in metagames where I'm not entirely sure what I need to counter. In a hyper-fast combo meta, maybe this should be a Veil of Summer. Maybe it should be another Consigned in Memory. Maybe it should be another Force of Negation. Maybe I should have supported that Endurance. In a tempo meta, maybe this should be the 4th Prismatic Ending. Maybe it should be a Supreme Verdict. In a control meta, maybe it should be another Jace. But we don't know what the meta is right now, and we're going to have to play against a bunch of different decks. And counterspell, guess what? All decks have spells in them. Some decks have only spells in them. That's a topical metagame joke about Oops All Spells, a deck that was not affected by the bans, and I expect will be out and about. That's what the main deck Soul Guide Lantern is for, just giving myself an extra tool for graveyard matchups. Reanimator is still very much a deck. You could still build it combo style. You could just pivot Troll of Khazad-dûm into Oliphant, which is a worse card for the deck, but is a similar thing that you could do. All the tempo decks, both the Izzet-based and the Dimir-based, care about their graveyard at least enough with their Goyfs or their Murktides or their Dragon's Rage Channelers. And Soul Guide Lantern just cycles if you don't need it. So I feel confident putting this card in my deck. I have enough basics to cast the important spells in my deck versus Blood Moon strategies. Eldrazi will still be out there. They just get 4 Wastelands now instead of 12, and they have to use their land drop instead of getting 8 of them for free. So the meta hasn't actually changed. It's just taken a small step back. It's just a little slower at the most degenerate edges of it. But the decks that were being played will still be played. And this deck isn't just completely off the path of what I might have been playing 2 weeks ago, but, you know, Jace the Mind Sculptor, the second counterspell, there's a couple things where I'm just hoping the format's a little slower and we get to play. The deck I'm really worried about with slow control decks like this is Omni Show. Show and Tell is back in force with the addition of Stock Up to the format, and that's always been a tough matchup. That's why I made the splash for the Pyroblast. That's why Meddling Mage is in the sideboard. Just trying to squeeze the matchups that I know are going to be tough and I know are going to be out there. The Teferi's response is a request from Carl. He just wanted to see that card played, and maybe we'll BTFO a Wasteland or a Rashad Port. Maybe we won't, but the card's in the deck. I'm excited to play it. Haven't put that one in a deck in a while. Here we go. This is Carl's post-ban hot ban. I'm on the draw in round 1 versus GKN MTG, who says, "Hey Brian and hey YouTube." Everyone say hey to GKN MTG. My hand is solid. I have 2 forces and ways to recoup the cards that my forces are going to cost. The perfect control hand. Opponent mulled to 6. Let's see what they're up to. A Polluted Delta. Island Ponder. Heck yeah. Real ones no. Did not shuffle their Ponder. I'd love to draw any blue card here. Didn't happen. That's fine. Drop Tameo. Get to work. Tundra, Prismatic Ending. That's fine. Your own Tameo. Shit, that's way bad. Alright, so I'm going to Force of Will this. I'm fine not having a Tameo, but I can't not have one, and they do have one. So Esper is a deck that has some legs in the previous format. Oh, this is interesting. Do I want to try to cheeseball Wasteland them? That's not really what Wasteland's in deck for, but if I can catch them slipping, I will. A Brainstorm, pre-land drop Brainstorm. We both had Tameo Brainstorm set up, ready to go. This Brainstorm looks pretty sweet. I haven't seen this one on Magic Online yet. It's the Mystery Booster 2, Future Sight Frame Brainstorm. I imagine that's an expensive foil, IRL. Okay, they Brainstorm, they hit their land drop. I hope that Wasteland was at least a little disruptive. Big Mentor. I'm going to Brainstorm now, before something like Orcish Bowmaster is live, and in case I draw a Tameo. Which I did. Scoreboard. I'm going to get Tundra. I'm already exposed to Wasteland. Lean in. Meticulous Archive. So that's the second Tundra-style dual land they've fetched. I wonder if this is just a blue-white deck. Blue-white decks could be some control for our new format. It could be Stifle Knot. Prismatic Ending's normally not in decks that only have access to 2 colors, though. I suspect this is some sort of Esper or Bant something or other. Brainstorm straight into Ponder. Ponder shuffled the Brainstorm. Ancient Tomb. Oh, okay. Interesting. What the hell is this? Okay. I'm going to attack with Tameo. Is this just like a control deck that has the One Ring in it? Is this Omni Show that has removal and Tameo in it? I'm going to play Uro, whatever this is. I think Tundra is more important here. I don't want to reveal that I have red mana in game 1 if I don't have to. And if I get Tundra here, I can fetch Meticulous Archive with the Flooded Strand in my hand. And that could put Force of Will or Brainstorm back in the mix. If I draw a blue card here, Force of Will becomes good. Oh, there's Force of Will. Alright, hope I don't die right now, I guess. Suddenly pretty spooked. Okay, they passed the turn. I could get Hedge Maze here. I could just go to my turn and draw a card and let Tameo cook. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, Force Blue card is live. Tameo, go get it. Okay, I'm going to fetch a Savannah. Do I need a 3rd white? I don't think so. Maybe I'll just get Trop. Yeah, Bant Control. We're doing it. Green, green, blue, blue. My favorite 4 words to say in the same order. I only get to leave 1 card in my graveyard. I'm leaving Wasteland because I do play Life from the Loam. Force, pitching, Force. I think this is fine. Against whatever this Ancient Tomb is casting, I'd rather have my own Force than have an Uro in play. Doorkeeper Thrall. Alright, well. That one I have to fight over. This might be Harane's Torpor or Dreadnought deck. Streamer and member of the BoshNRoll community, Harane. Yeah, there it is, okay. Now I feel silly for countering the Thrall, but what are you going to do? I can flip Tameo this turn. And their hand clearly is not a Dreadnought, or else it would have happened already. This deck is in my queue, by the way. Harane has submitted it for getting played. Alright. Eat, flip. If they have Plow here, they could do it, but I just, Ancestral Recalled, that's fine. Okay, Hellbent opponent. I have Plow up. I have Mentor available. Time to turn these quarters. The card I'm most worried about is Null Drifter, I think. A Flooded Strand played out. All right, Glue Token. I'll start there. Counterspell, fun. Tameo, and what can their deck even do? All right, I'm going to play out the Mentor. It's time. And I think Mystic Sanctuary should get the Force of Will here. Yeah, put Force on top of the deck. Mentor, get in. Blocking my opponent like it's 2016. Yeah, if they go like Null Drifter and it draws a Dreadnought, that would be pretty annoying. Yeah, we're getting a fetch. They drew us something to do. Hull Breacher. Okay. I'm a little surprised to see that card, but I am ready for it, so it's fine. Saurus to pull shares. Let's clear that out. They know I have Force Will in my hand. They don't know I also have Counterspell in my hand. Smoosh for 3 and get a clue. Holding up Counterspell feels so broken. Just in Magic the Gathering. When your opponent's top decking and you have Counterspell in your hand. No better feeling. Okay, pre-combat Ponder to grow my prowess friends. Monastery Mentor wins the game so fast. Restricted and Vintage, did you know? Too good. Another Plow sounds fine, actually. So, Plow, ending, Hedge Maze, don't shuffle, Hedge Maze, dump the Prismatic ending. Then I'll attack with my squad. I'll draw Swords to Plowshares with my clue. That flips Tameo. Opponent said, fun is certainly being had. I concur. This is good legacy. Okay, sweet. Bant control, baby. Okay, we saw all the bones for a Dreadnought Null Drifter strategy, even though they didn't actually play either of those cards. Hull Breacher's interesting. Consign to Memory, counters Torpor Orb, counters Dreadnought. They definitely have blue cards in their deck. They may or may not have Wasteland in their deck. I just checked Harane's recent list, and he was not on Wasteland, but he also had his Hull Breachers in the sideboard, not in the main, so opponent has done some innovation here. I don't think Force of Negation is necessary. I got a lot of removal for a deck like this. Dress down is the antithesis of what I want to do here. My opponent's going to be dressing down the entire game. Don't think I need Soul Guide Lantern. I like all my other cards. I could cut a Force of Will, or I could cut Lorien Revealed instead and keep all my interaction. Winning an early fight could matter a lot. Okay, I'll keep my Force of Wills, cut a Lorien. Jockeying over early Tameos is going to be part of this game. Okay, let's go. Okay, hand is a little wonky, but I can keep it. It's not wonky enough to pitch it. I could deal with a turn 1 Tameo. I don't care about Torpor Orb. I have Uro in my hand. Deal. Resolves. Ooh, okay. Now I actually have a choice to make. I am going to Tundra Tameo. This tap land comes at a cost, obviously, and I am eating that cost right now. But the Tundra can also remove a Dreadnought next turn. If they have Null Drifter, I just lose, and it's fine. Well, we're fetching mana number 3. Bad news, team. Yeah, this is the nut draw. Okay, I need to find a Swords to Plowshares or the game is over. Alright, so I'm going to attack with Tameo, and then I'm going to Brainstorm after blocks. I mean, I could do it now, but I'm going to Brainstorm to save Tameo, is what I'm trying to say. Brainstorm, have to Brainstorm anyway. I don't need 2 Uros this game. Teferi could technically stabilize me. How many Teferis do I actually want? I could just play the Mystic Sanctuary tapped. Null Drifter annihilates Tameo, or I could plus Tameo. Tameo would technically survive, so annihilate the clue. Or I could use Ponder to try to hit a different untapped land. That's actually really close and interesting. Teferi bouncing Null Drifter only takes some pressure off. They just get to replay Null Drifter and draw 2 more cards. Okay, I think I'm gonna dump a Teferi. An Uro and a Teferi. Go away. Tameo flips. Second main plus Tameo. And then cast Ponder. Shuffle this. The Brainstorm's mildly interesting, but not what I need. And now, how much follow-up damage is being done? Prismatic Ending's really bad, but I have the clue for Annihilator. I can keep my lands. There's the third color. Like I said, Prismatic Ending decks tend to have more than one color. or more than 2 colors. Annihilate the clue. And we're looking for Swords to Plowshares, and it resolves. I guess I could put Uro into play and try to race here. I could also just stick the Teferi like the plan. All right, I'm going to go for the Teferi. We are cooked by anything here. Spell Pierce, Pyroblast, Force of Will. Okay, Pyroblast. Technically can't concede yet, even though I want to. I'll annihilate my basic island and then take another rip at Swords to Plowshares. Island's gone. Annihilator 1, insane on turn 2 on the play. A powerful effect. Ponder. Ancient Tomb in just like a mostly fair blue deck it's risky, but there are, of course, rewards here, like we're seeing happen right now. Dreadnought. And dead. Okay. I could Prismatic Ending Dreadnought, play Mystic Sanctuary tapped. Alright, not dead. Basically still in the same spot we were last turn. End the Dreadnought. Mystic Sanctuary tapped. I'll annihilate that. Go to 7. Another rip at Swords to Plowshares. I could counter the Annihilator. Interesting. I think I actually am going to do that. Just trying to do anything to play this game. Okay, Pyroblast used. I lose my Sanctuary after all. Pyroblast being gone is helpful to me, though. Notice last turn they pondered off the Tundra, leaving up red, so Pyroblast was slightly telegraphed. A Brainstorm, and I guess I could just put Uro into play here and try to race. Just lose to everything. But I'm already losing to everything. Here's Uro. Fetching in response. It's bad news if they do anything here. Okay, Uro resolves. They can Prismatic End, they can Plow, they can Brazen Borrow. Alright, I'm at 13. I'll annihilate my Volcanic Island and try again to draw Swords to Plowshares. They've got a Brainstorm, a Fetch Land. Volcanic Island's gone. They're down to 2 cards over there. Come on, Swords to Plowshares. Oh no, another spell. I hate spells. Another Brainstorm. They're just winging cards around like crazy. Big draws. Oh my goodness. Well, Swords to Plowshares. I don't want to let them untap and have Hardcast Force available. If they force here, it's going to cost 2 cards, and we have achieved stability. 9 life. We both have 2 cards in play. They have 6 mana to my 2, 7 mana to my 2. But I'm about to untap with Counterspell. 2 Counterspells. All right, begin the turnaround. Turnaround of the century. We're going to get Meticulous Archive here. There it is. Dump a Force of Will. So they're looking for threats. I'm looking for them to not draw threats. I would have to counter something like Stock Up. Alright, Null Drifter, pain in my ass. I'll counter the actual creature. Not that I could counter the trigger, but I will counter the creature. Draws 2. That's 3 of their 8 win cons accounted for already. Opponent has a Dress Down. They don't need a Dress Down because they already have a Torpor Orb. I suspect this is just cantripping, trying to keep something going and cast something relevant while I'm tapped out. And they did not do it. Passing priority. Life from the Loam. Okay, this taps me out of Counterspell for a turn, but sets me up for every subsequent turn. I think I have to risk it here. Life from the Loam. Get the goods. If they had anything, they would have played it last turn, so if anything happens now, it came off the top, and I just have to accept that that's Magic the Gathering, but that's such an insane rebuild. I just undid all of the annihilations from the earlier turns of the game. I think if they pass without a threat right now, I am doing great. Okay, they played a land. They're flooding out. We needed this. Edge Maze, let's go. Find something to turn it around. Uro, well, I'll put that on top. I am not going to Dredge Loam. I am going to play Volcanic Island, and I'm going to pass. I don't want to put the Counterspell shields down now. I can play Uro next turn with Counterspell still up. Opponent's got a Hull Breacher. How much am I worried about this? I can plow it at any time. Uro doesn't draw a card until... Yeah, it's fine. I'll just Snap Plow it in the end step. Or no, Snap doesn't work because of Torpor Orb. I'll just block it with Snapcaster when they attack with it. That's fine. Snapcaster finding a use somewhere, anywhere. I think I will engage in a counter war here. If they try to plow Snapcaster, I'll counter it. Counter that. Do they have another one? They do. Okay. So that is a bunch of plows gone when my plan is to cast Uro next turn. I'm not hurting for that. Flooded Strand, Uro. I did draw a blank Ponder. Flooded Strand can be Mystic Sanctuary. Ugh. Alright, Path to Exile. It's a lot of removal. I'll get my basic planes here, and yeah, Mystic Sanctuary getting back Plow, unlocking Ponder is now... Oh, Mystic Sanctuary's in my graveyard. Shit! It got annihilated super early in this game. I remember that now. Okay, what do? I can Dredge, Loam, get back Mystic Sanctuary. Your opponent would draw a card, except the first one they draw in a turn. Okay, so if I Dredge, I can still Ponder. Or no, that's in each of their draw steps. This is the harsh one. Versus Narset, you can Dredge any number of times, but you only get one actual draw. Okay. Draw, 2 Ponders, and dredging here doesn't work anymore. Okay, what an insane game. We almost turned it back around. Okay, the Hull Breachers are in multiples. I don't think there's really anything else I would do here. Carpet of Flowers has a little bit of utility, but that only matters if I get annihilated early, like happened that game. And I have 4 Plows, 3 Consigned, 4 Forces, 2 Counterspells for their 4 Null Drifters. Yeah, I'm not going to overreact to that. Okay. Almost turned it around against their nut draw. Let's go. Uh-oh. Island Ponder Keep. But I don't love a 1-lander, but I am going to run with it here. I'm going to get Tundra and cast Ponder. We played a pretty long game, didn't see a Wasteland. Tundra, Ponder. Just looking for some lands here. We found Land Counterspell. I'll take it. I really don't want that Monastery Mentor, not for a while, but I have Brainstorm, move cards around. Okay, we're orbing. Straight up orbing it. Pondering your orb. I'm a little better set up this game for that situation. Null Drifter's still really good, though. Uncounterable Divination. That I then have to fight over the body that's hard to beat. I was promised Eldrazi were banned. What's going on here? Okay, I'm going to send the Counterspell first. They still get to draw 2, and they could fight over this, which would then make me plow on my turn. They'd have to fight twice. Force pitching B-Storm. You get your Null Drifter, at least for now. I'm going to Brainstorm before I plow. I don't think this is a Daze deck, and I'd like to know what my options are. Okay, Monastery Mentor can back off with Uro enabled by Torpor Orb and Teferi here. I think I'm okay. Wrath of the Skies could, in the very near future, kill Torpor Orb and any number of Dreadnoughts. Okay, I think I'm going to put back Mentor and Brainstorm. I could Ponder before I plow also. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my Volcanic Island. Or I think I want another Tundra here because Wrath of the Skies is lining up. Okay, yeah, I do want another Tundra. I could get Savannah to round out my colors. That makes Mystic Sanctuary worse. I'm going to get Tundra. Ponder. I'm doing this in case I find a Force. I found another Plow. Ponder, Hedge Maze, Plow. Put it in the grip. Alright, please don't have another Force right now. Cool, alright. So they spent 3 cards on that. I spent 2 cards on that. Or they spent 3 cards, but they replaced 2 cards. That was ultimately a 2-for-1 in their favor. Alright, stonking up. Haven't seen this one yet, but it is a core piece of the engine. It's part of why the Pyroblasts are in for me. Volcanic Island. That represents Pyroblast. Huge bummer. Because I was hoping to resolve this Teferi this turn. I could go for Uro instead. As far as things I don't mind being countered go. Alright, yeah, I'm actually going to go for Uro first, now that they have red showing. I would go for Teferi if they had white. I'd go for Teferi if they had nothing. I'm going for Uro now that they're showing red. Okay, Uro's in. I think I'm actually going to dump this Ponder. Though I do have a Plow. I am going to dump Ponder. They've shown me multiple Hull Breachers. The cool thing about Pyroblasting Uro is they don't even have to make that decision. Like, killing it in play is the same as countering it because of the Torpor Orb. Yeah, they found the line. 5 cards in their hand. I kind of hope they just play 4 Dreadnoughts right now. That would be okay. Ugh. Another copy of the good card they play. Alright, I'm going to start with Teferi. If this gets Pyroblasted, it's fine. If it doesn't get Pyroblasted, I have options. B-Storm in response. Now it's Force of Will or Bust here. And they do have it. Force pitching stock up. That's fine. Plow the Null Drifter. That's 2 drifters, 2 stock ups gone. I am totally fine with Phyrexian Dreadnought. I am terrified of Null Drifter. I'm out of answers to Null Drifter. If they have the 3rd one, we are behind and scrambling. Okay, they just passed. Oh, Loam gets back 2 things here. Leaving up Counterspell. Yeah, I want to get the engine going. And we're in that zone where I'm very close to taking over. As long as I don't lose to some BS. I can actually Wrath Hull Breacher next turn. I'll let it live. Got the Meticulous Archive. Hull Breacher taking a swing. I do also have access to my Mystic Sanctuary. I could just grab the Plow here. Dress Down, that's fine. Yeah, they're just cantripping. Dress Down goes away. Mystic Sanctuary. Get back. I could get Counterspell back and play Uro with Counterspell back up. Uro doesn't draw a card anyway because of Hull Breacher. Yeah, I'm actually going to set up this super slow. I'm at 14. I got options here. Draw Counterspell, Flooded Strand, Uro, green, green, blue, blue. Most of the stuff in my graveyard doesn't matter anymore. Uro resolves. Swords to Plowshares. Okay. They know I have Counterspell, but this is why I have Counterspell, so I'm going to use it. If they get me with a Days Undoing juke here, they got me. If this is just like a counter war, it's fine. If they follow up with a Dreadnought, that's also fine. Pyroblast. Okay. I think they should have Pyroblasted Counterspell to exile Uro here. It ends up... I end up with 6 more life, but Uro's not in my graveyard. I can just make the same play now that I made last turn. And they have to defend it again. They don't know I have another Counterspell, though, so there's a little bit going on here. I could also Wrath now. Wrath for 3 with Counterspell is live. Alright, I'm going to Wrath for 3. Because Wrath for 3 does also kill Uro. Okay, their shit's gone. I'm holding Counterspell. I can Uro next turn. They're 1 land away from hard casting Null Drifters. There it is. Yeah, that's not what happened, though. Snapcaster. I like that. Green, green, blue, blue. This is what we like to do. Whoa, I just drew Snapcaster. I was just exiling all my spells out in Reflex. Okay, I am actually going to burn the Loam. This leaves Wrath and Plow in my graveyard with Counterspell in my hand. Plow, Counterspell. I'm going to leave up red just in case I rip Pyroblast here. Force blue card. I feel like the tides have turned. Officially ahead. A fresh Torpor Orb. I'm not going to fight over it. That does make Snapcaster worse, but I'm going to let Uro do the work here. Look at that. Didn't fall for their tricks. Now I have Uro on an empty board. Coast to coast. Let's go, big guy. Monastery Mentor. Keep it coming. All right, I want Uro to draw just like Ponder here. Wasteland. Yeah, whatever. I'll use it. All right, Mentor. Help out. I can take them off red. Yeah, I don't know how much red mana their deck actually plays. I'll hit that Volcanic Island while I can. Okay, they drew a land for turn. We got the GGs. This is only 8 damage, but they can't fetch anymore. They can't tap Ancient Tomb anymore, and if I draw any spell, they're dead on the spot. That was great magic. We're so back. On to the next round. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. I am on the play in round number 2. I'll keep my hand. It can answer a creature or a spell. I would prefer if they're a creature deck, based on Swords of Plowshares being 1 for 1, and I have 2 of them. That means it can answer twice as many things at the same cost as Force of Will. My opponent's avatar is Scythecat Cub. I hope they're not lying. Bayou. Typical Scythecat Cub behavior. Alright. I am going to fetch Tundra and cast Swords of Plowshares, because my hand contains Wasteland also. If I couldn't take them down to 0 mana, I probably would just save the plows for future concerns. But I am flush with action here. Talon Gates, let's go. This card taps for colorless unless you have more lands. Prismatic Ending. I need another land here, but I'm not worried about dying anytime soon. They don't even have another land. Let's go. Let's go. Teferi Time Raveler sticking on an empty board versus a fair deck. What year is it? Plus Teferi. Gaia's Cradle. Yeah, you better play that before you discard it. Okay, I'm going to minus Teferi. Get my rando draw first. And then I think I will brainstorm. Right, Force of Negation is a stinker. Dress Down's good. I don't think I need 2 Force of Wills here. I'm not sure I need any Force of Wills here, actually. I have green. I'm going to get my blue. Oh, I have blue also, but white sounds good. And I'm going to pass. I'm actually going to hold on to the Ponder. Tamiyo is really the only thing I would cast here for 1 mana. And holding up Dress Down, Plow, whatever I need feels pretty good. I'm not in a hurry. And the Dress Down gives me the long-term inevitability of at some point I can play Dress Down, bounce it with Teferi, and just draw 3 extra cards in a turn. Ponder time, hit my land, hit another Teferi, hit another Prismatic Ending. Yeah, I'll just keep all this here. I don't have a win condition yet, but my resources are out of control. Okay, they've had enough. Don't even want to see how I'm going to win. No. Okay, we are against Cradle Control, a deck that uses cards like Green Sun Zenith and Natural Order to turn small creatures into big creatures. Sometimes they have Thoughtseize. Maybe I want Veil of Summer. My sideboard is not really built for this because my main deck's already pretty good against it. Force of Negation comes out, Containment Priest comes in. That part's easy. And I could conceive of names for Meddling Mage. I could conceive of Veiling Thoughtseize kind of effect. I'd also shrug off a Thoughtseize. Soulguide Lantern does have text versus Elvish Reclaimer and White of the Reliquary. And Fiend Artisan, though I don't think they play that card anymore. Consigned to Memory can hit in Atraxa or Craterhoof. I don't think I'm sold on Consign. Soulguide Lantern is still fine enough. Do I want Meddling Mage or Veil of Summer? Would I even know what to meddle? Meddling Mage is at least always a creature and always blue for force. Veil of Summer could be completely blank, where Meddling Mage is always Grizzly Bear, blue Grizzly Bear. We're in the weeds here. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Meddling Mage. I will Google their deck list if I have to. If I draw Meddling Mage in a spot where there's not an obvious name, I'll just pick something. Okay, bunch of white removal. Something that does something. I have the 1-of Wasteland again. Once Upon a Time. Barrogoyf. That is a big old creature. Let's see if they fetch a basic this game. They did not. Okay. Ignoble Hierarch. Okay. I will, on my turn, Prismatic Ending the Ignoble Hierarch. Get Tundra, Prismatic Ending. This leaves up the ability to plow a creature of any size plus wasteland them next turn. Or I could plow their creature and play Tamiyo, if I think that's better. Elvish Reclaimer. If they miss a land drop, I'm putting them in the garbage. Okay. Land drop, not missed. Zenith confirmed to be in the deck. Not that I had any doubt. Okay. Well, I'm going to remove Elvish Reclaimer, and I'm going to Wasteland Dryad Arbor. I'm reducing their creature count because Gaia's Cradle is a big part of their deck. This Barrogoyf is currently actually pretty good. I don't have great answers to it. Urza Saga, a problem. Okay, the critical mass of things has lined up to where it needed to. I guess I'm just going to cast Life from the Loam here. Gets back the Wasteland that could help deal with the Saga, but Barrogoyf is going to be doing work here. It's a 4/5. I do play Wrath of the Skies and Dress Down in my list. Barrogoyf mills 4. They found a Sylvan Safekeeper in the 4. Milled over Thoughtseize and 2 Cradles as well. Yeah, Safekeeper's pretty good. Noble Hierarch would be a great turn to draw that 1-of Wrath of the Skies. Lorien Revealed. I think I'm going to play Uro and pop something in. I have to mitigate my life total while accumulating resources here. Containment Priest, fascinating. Do I have time to Wasteland Urza Saga? I can't draw cards next turn. If Urza Saga tutors a graveyard hate card, that's really bad for me. It doesn't really have to be. Oh, they have Sylvan Safekeeper in play. Swords of Plowshares doesn't matter. Never mind. Yeah, I guess I'll just Wasteland the Urza Saga then. They could sack it in response, give something untargetable if they think that matters. This does put an enchantment in the graveyard. Okay, made Barrogoyf Shroudy. They also have Exalted, which is even more on the Barrogoyf if they want it. Or, well, they're going to want it. They're going to attack. Oh, Natural Order. I might just be dead. Zenith for 3. That's also bad. Probably gets Raminap Excavator. Is that a card they play? Endurance. All right, that's a card they play. They definitely have that one. Okay, still in the market for a mighty Wrath of the Skies. Barrogoyf mills 6. It's basically Demonic Tutor. White of the Reliquary, Scythecat Cub are your options. Took the white. Flooded Strand, Tameo. I can flash in Containment Priest. Okay, pushing for damage. I'm going to block Barrogoyf with the Priest and try to keep Tameo around because every card matters here. White of the Reliquary's in. Gaia's Cradle's in. 1 card left. What do we got? Are they Zenithing after I jump block with my Containment Priest? The biggest middle finger imaginable. Okay, I'm going to fetch Hedge Maze here. Get an extra look at that Wrath of the Skies. 1 draw to rule them all. My 1 of Wasteland's back. That's not helping anymore. Wrath of the Skies. Force of Will. That's not it. Okay, I'm going to attack with Tameo. They have 4, 5, 6, 7, 13. It could be 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, they can definitely win the game, even through a Tameo plus. Though casting Lorien Revealed here, not an option. Teferi. That card does not beat Sylvan Safekeeper. Okay. That's the difference between play and draw. Like on the play, they were a mana ahead of my, was it 3 or 4 mana denial objects at the start of the game. And then they just kept going after that. Where in game 1, they just died to the same sequence. Okie dokie. Anything different here? Confirmed Thoughtseize in the deck. We saw the mill one over. I was medium on Meddling Mage anyway. We can switch that out. Sorry, Chris. Okay, let's go. No white cards in this hand makes me super worried. Dress Down's good. Brainstorm's good. Can't even cast this counterspell. I think I am going to keep this, but I recognize it has some pretty serious problems. This might be an end-step Brainstorm just for velocity situation. Ignoble Hierarch. End-step Brainstorm. Okay. I don't need another basic island because I have to redraw one of these because that's how cards work. Okay, Windswept Heath. I'm going to fetch a duel here for sure. It's going to be Trop or Tundra. It's probably going to be Trop, so I'll lean on Windswept Heath. This can also get basic planes if somehow that matters. I'm going to counterspell this. Tropical Island, counterspell. This thing gets really big. Gaia's Cradle. After that, Hierarch. Containment Priest. I like that a lot. I'm going to start with Brainstorm. I don't need this Savannah. I don't need this Light from the Loam. And I'll pass. I have Dress Down or Containment Priest here to interact with. They saw Containment Priest game 1. I don't think they've seen my Dress Down. But Dress Down's not really a card you play around. It's just like a card that there is. They snuck a Dryad Arbor in. If I had played the Containment Priest, that card would be gone. Oh, well, we got him with the Natural Order, though. Tundra. Priest. Hope they don't have Dismember in their hand. They do have a mana up. Okay, Natural Order is going to fizzle here. They failed to find a green creature. Attack for 2. Those Exalted triggers stacking up big time. And Wasteland, interesting. I could take out the Cradle. I think I'm going to Ponder first. If I can plow this White of the Reliquary, things get a lot easier. Ponder. I don't think I have room for Mentor this turn. I could play Uro. Nope, I tapped out a green. I can't play Uro. I can play Tameo. I could Wasteland Cradle and cast Dress Down, and then the Noble Hierarchs don't work. The white will replace the Cradle pretty quickly, though. Yeah, this is just a shuffle. Shuffle this. Teferi. Okay, let's go. That is more the speed I was looking for. Teferi will just die here, but at least it buys me a turn versus the white. I'm not blocking anyway, so here's the attack. All right, found a source of plowshares. Now we could start pushing it, turning it back around, play Mentor, plow the white, waste the Cradle, make a Prowess Monk. Oh no, am I getting Thoughtseize? No, they're casting a black card, the white. We knew about that. Green, still in the pool. Elvish Reclaimer, don't like it. One card left, hope it's Green Sun Zenith. And they're bashing Teferi, to the surprise of no one. Okay. Wasteland, take out Cradle, Monastery Mentor, plow White of the Reliquary, and attack with Containment Priest. Okay, we're jockeying. This game is pretty cool. Back up White. This game is less cool. They do have the mana up to reclaim into a Cradle. Oh yeah, sweet. Okay, I like that a lot. If I attack with Monastery Mentor, they block with anything and I cast Dress Down, they're in trouble. Yeah, I'm going to attack with Mentor. Monk can attack here too, actually. Yeah, I'll attack with both of these. They both get the Prowess trigger before Dress Down removes their abilities, and White of the Reliquary will be 2/2 at the end of the business. All right, they went for the block. This will flush out their... Oh, a double block. Fun. Okay, Dress Down. Prowess. Make another Monk. Okay, so they can zoot out my Mentor here with their stupid land, or they could save one of their own creatures. They're going after Mentor. In that case, I will plow White of the Reliquary while the getting's good. Make another Boat of Friends. Get another Prowess trigger. Opponent takes 3. I have forced blue card now. And we have dealt with another White of the Reliquary. Mentor is dominating this situation. And that's a turn that they had to spend doing that rather than getting Cradle. All right, cheap spells. Shit. My hand is actually real bad right now. I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed for Mystic Sanctuary. And then put, I think I actually want Ponder on top. And Source of Plowshares is good, but I can outmuscle them straight up with Monastery Mentor. Oh, they drew Endurance for their turn. That's fine. Force of Will lets me get a big attack through. The Mentor can't attack, but all its 2/2 friends can. Okay, that's countered. Ponder goes to the top. We're just in a damage race here. Okay, they're fetching. They might spin up Bajuka Bog in response still. But that is them using their Reclaimer activation and tapping out all of their blockers to stop me from drawing Ponder next turn. Yeah, this is fine. Now I got a giant tee off. Yeah, fighting over that Ponder cost them 5 life. We'll see if that ends up being super important, but I wasn't going to attack with Mentor or Priest until they did that. Burden Catacombs, not super helpful for them. Any spell is good for me. In for 3. I will not be blocking. No thanks. Brainstorm. Free combat. Just trying to draw as many spells as I can this turn. Wrath of the Skies and Jace the Mind Sculptor. Let's go. I'm going to cast Jace the Mind Sculptor and I'm going to probably Fate Seal them. Unfortunately, Wrath kills all of my tokens, so that's not really an option. Scooping to Jace the Mind Sculptor. We're back. We're so back. The bands fix everything. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 3 with a little bit of a clunker, but I am going to keep it. I have Lorien Revealed to find my white mana. I am dead if they send something turn 1, but I am in fine shape if they're chill at all. Thoughtseize. Okay, Thoughtseize taking Lorien Revealed would be a bold gambit. I imagine it's Lorien or Teferi that goes here, depending on how long they think the game's going to go. If this is Doomsday, they might not even care about my white cards and they just take the Teferi. If they are Dimir Tempo, though, which is a deck that was unaffected by the bans, then Okay, it's a good job that they didn't take Lore Revealed. Would have been punished immediately for that. Teferi's gone. Beastorm. Rainstorm finds Misty Rainforest. And Dark Ritual. Okay, I think our day is about to be doomed. It is. The coast is clear. I think Dress Down is my best draw at this point. Unlike last round, where my main deck is built to crush creatures and my sideboard has basically nothing, my main deck is not built for Doomsday and my sideboard has a lot. Luckily, their Thoughtseize only saw blue and white cards. They won't even necessarily know that I have access to things like Veil of Summer. Yeah, isn't it lucky how quick I died? Cope. You fool, you won so fast that you don't know what's in my deck. Okay, we have a pile selected. They have Jace Wielder in their deck. Personal Tutor, Deep Analysis. So this is a faster version. There's a Cavern of Souls in Exile. Oh, are they going to win right now? Lotus Petal. Yeah, they're going to win right now. Love it. Why make me sit around? Perfect. I'll just look at their deck while they win. Multiple Personal Tutors, Lion's Eye Diamond. The Deep Analysis is in Exile. Yeah, this works too. And it looks like I actually... Oh no, they have the Consider. Sure. If they had just played Thassa's Oracle there, leading on the plains might have actually broke up the pile, but then they would have known because they've seen my hand. All right, Thoughtseize turn 1, lose turn 2 on the draw. Cool. Veil of Summer, Meddling Mage, Pyroblast, Consigned to Memory. These are coming in. Wrath of the Skies, Prismatic Ending. White cards coming out for the most part. Soul Guide Lantern. I want some number of plows because if they juke onto Shieldred or Barrowgoy for something, I don't want to be completely shields down to it. Surgical Extraction. If a Doomsday ends up in the graveyard somewhere, that's an effective tool, or scrambling their Doomsday pile is a Hail Mary I could throw. I don't think I'm interested in that. 3 plows, a bunch of blue cards to support my bunch of forces. Mentor could really make it impossible for them to make a pass pile because it hits so hard. Null Rod, they have like 3 or 4 artifacts in their deck. I'm not bringing that in for that. This is what I'm doing. I think Doomsday is one of the big winners from the recent ban list updates. Dimir Reanimator was just kind of a better Doomsday deck at almost all the same things. Okay, Tamiyo. I will keep this. It doesn't interact on turn 1, but it is unlikely, especially in a sideboard game, that my opponent is just gonna send it into the sun on turn 1. If they Thoughtseize me, I have multiple Ponders, and Tamiyo's already down. Yeah, and if they're just out here pondering, Tamiyo is exactly what I want to be doing. They could still Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, but then I have a pile to fight. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Basic Plains. I don't think I want that card. All right, second main. I think casting Ponder is better than cracking the Clue. And there is a Force of Will and a Brainstorm. I'll take them. All right, Force blue card with Pyroblast backup. This hand is pretty weak to Thoughtseize. If they Thoughtseize Dark Ritual Doomsday, then Pyroblast might not have a spot where it can meaningfully interact. Yeah, there's Thoughtseize. Sure. Have it. Go ahead. I wonder if the 1000 IQ play was to leave Force on top of my deck, imagining that they would spend this turn Thoughtseizing before they send a combo. That's probably better than what I did. But if they do just send it, obviously having the Force is so much better. Right, a Ponder. Do I want to lose the Brainstorm on top of my deck? And do I want to fetch Volcanic Island and play the game that way? I think I am going to Pyroblast this. Especially now that it's face up. Pyroblast loses a lot of juice. They can build piles that it doesn't interact positively against. I drew Brainstorm anyway. Motobug to the rescue. Attack with Tamiyo. And I am going to Brainstorm here. They just Thoughtseized me. This scrambles the information they have. I don't want Basic Plains. I don't really want Uro. I love Consigned to Memory, and I don't mind Wasteland one bit. Okay, I'm going to put back Uro and Plains, plus Tamiyo. Hey, I'm just going to zap off this Wasteland. If they were building up to a Thoughtseize plus Dark Ritual U-turn, or just third land Doomsday, this does mess them up a bit. Brainstorm, go for it. They're fetching. Another Ponder. The cans keep on tripping. I think this turn I'm just going to play my planes, rebuy my force, and pass. Ready to crack some clues and rebuild if they don't do anything. Okay, so there is a face-up Force of Will. They know about one of the ponders, or they don't actually know anything. They have seen the ponder. They've never seen the consign. But I've brainstormed since they saw the ponder. But I haven't shuffled, so they actually do know that the top card of my deck is probably Uro. End of turn, clue token, hope they don't have Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. A second consign feels pretty good. I am actually not going to cast Ponder here because Force, Consign, Replicate, Consign is a lot of interaction that I'm pretty interested in having access to. Duress. Sure, dig in. Took the Force. Brainstorm. If I think deleting Tamiyo to get Force back in my hand is better than having Tamiyo ticking around, that is something I have access to. Ooh, a green source. Another cantrip. They've seen, I think, every card in their deck at this point. They do have a lot of resources, and I've applied 0 actual damage pressure this game. If they make a Doomsday pile that includes just like 3 Duresses, that is a line that exists for them. Dark Ritual's on the stack. Doomsday. I can draw Wild here. I think I should. If there's a Force, that's really good. Okay, it's not a Force. That does tap me out of Replicating Consign. So if they have Lotus Petal, send it. But then they'd be going from 0. Okay, I think that's fine. We've seen Jace Wielder in their deck, which is not a trigger. It's a replacement effect. That could be a way they navigate Consign at this high resources. Okay, 48 cards exiled. All 4 Veil of Summers are out. I count 3 Thoughtseizes and 1 Duress in exile. We've got Flusterstorm in the mix. All right. Probably dead next turn, but let's take a draw and see what happens. Island. That means I can ponder a 3rd Consign to Memory. If they were already beating Consign to Memory, I don't think this is the solution. I'm going to shuffle this ponder. Dress down, you don't say. Okay, I'm going to play Island, and I'm going to delete Tamiyo to get Force of Will back in my hand. Okay, here we go. They've got 7 cards to win the game with. I've got 7 cards in my hand, including several of my best cards in the matchup, but they did just stack their deck however they want. Street Wraith, Jace Wielder. I'm going to force pitching Uro. They force me back there at 2. Dress down. Okay, so Jace does win. If you would draw a card, yeah, this is a replacement effect. Target player mills 2 and draws a card. So I do have to dress down here and try to spike another counter. Force of Will. Shit. All right. And we are cooked. So if I had pondered 1 more, I actually would have found the Teferi and could have had it in play and won this counter war. Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah, Jace Wielder, outmuscling, triple Consign to Memory. GG's. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 4 versus Legacy streamer Arkin. I'm going to keep my Tamiyo Force of Will Uro hand. I know I'm recording this the day after the bans dropped, and I know yesterday, like minutes after the bans drop, Arkin was playing Grixis Reanimator with Oliphant. I would love for that to be featured on the channel, but I don't really want to play it, so I hope he is playing it. Polluted Delta. Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Yeah, dig in. Not going to force that shit. Took the Force of Will, so this is a combo deck. Wrath of the Skies. Okay, Tamiyo attack. And then I'm going to cast Ponder. Mentor, land, another Ponder. Pondering again does flip Tamiyo. Okay, no shuffle here. I'm going to ponder again. This flips Tamiyo, and I'm going to shuffle this one. I'm going for that YOLO force. All right, Swords to Plowshare is probably not bad. If he goes in Tomb Reanimate, Archon of Cruelty, I'm in some trouble. That line still exists in the format. Brainstorm, let's go. A small moment of relief. Unless he is a heavier combo build that plays Dark Ritual or Lotus Petal, it's going to be tough to die this turn. Blue to Delta and pass. Let's go. Prismatic Ending. I'm going to buy back that Force of Will that he took earlier. I have Uro. I can pitch to it. Am I getting stifled? What's going on here? Entomb over the top. Yep. I guess I should draw a card, see if I can fight over this. Okay. And Force pitching Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, so he is on some heavy shit over there. Grizzlebrand's in the graveyard. I don't have another blue card, and I don't have white mana in my hand. I'm actually pretty fucked here, if he has anything to follow this up with. Wasteland is fine. Thoughtseize, okay. Yep, I didn't have the blue card. You're safe. Taking Swords to Plowshares instead. Exhume gets nothing back for me, gets Grizzlebrand back for him. Gets to draw 7, but not more. My best draw is Brainstorm here, I think. Alright, I'll take a Ponder. Could just Force of Will this and run away with it. I thought about putting a Caracas in my deck, but I couldn't find room. Alright, Force Pissing Gaze. Plus Tameo. Alright, I can't win this game. Alright. Combo Reanimator, double Thoughtseize, plus Force of Will. You're going to lose those ones. Veil, Surgical, come in. Containment Priest comes in. Carpet's an interesting thought. We did see Wasteland and Islands together in the deck. Prismatic Ending, Wrath of the Skies out. Consigned to Memory out. I still like Teferi, Uro, Mentor, all that stuff. Loam is pretty reasonable. I could bring in Pyroblast. We've seen Force of Will out of my opponent. In Meddling Mage, naming Entomb is not nothing either. Dress Down is mid. It has words on it, obviously. Like if you dress down in response to Reanimate targeting Atraxa, they just have a 7/7, and this deck can pretty easily beat a 7/7 if it doesn't draw 6 cards on the way in. If he has a Show and Tell Juke, I would definitely want the Pyroblast in, and I would like the Dress Down as well. Uro might be a little slow here. That makes one of these slots open. Maybe I don't need to mess with Life from the Loam. Get another Pyroblast in here. But having a single red source in my deck, 2 Pyroblasts, and no Life from the Loam against a Wasteland strategy is slightly concerning. Maybe I'll just go 1 Pyroblast, because the cards I care about a lot are black. This is still 61 cards. What have I done? I think Dress Down can come out. Okay, here we go. This is a mess. Hand's good if he juked. Hand's terrible if he sends it. I guess I have to mulligan. Or I could just keep it. I could Pyroblast to set up Cantrip or something like Tameo. I can Hedge Maze if he doesn't send it. If I'm getting Thoughtseized anyway, then I'd rather just keep 7. Dark Ritual. Yuck. Alright, well, I may have bet on the wrong horse here. Shit. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where the folks in the comments are like, why didn't you mulligan to Force of Will? And I fucking told you why I didn't mulligan to Force of Will. It's because I got Thoughtseize twice last game. What if I mull to 5? I have Force Blue card and you cast Thoughtseize instead of Dark Ritual and Tomb Reanimate. Okay. I lose. I'm not beating a Grizzlebrand here. So I don't think he'd send it there if he didn't have Force backup also. So combo Reanimator. I am glad the deck has to be built like this. Like the Dark Rituals, and still losing to Reanimator after declaring we were back 2 rounds ago. That's still going to happen. If they wanted to kill Reanimator, they would have banned Entomb. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to slow down Reanimator or make it be a combo deck again. And I'm not sure how this deck is built, but you can still cast Dark Ritual and Tomb Reanimate with Force backup in the format. That was always true. You just kind of have to do that now. Dark Ritual, new to the deck, or old tech, but new to the build. Grizzlebrand, relatively new to... It's not what this deck was doing before, so I don't feel too bad about this. And I did have a lot of sideboard, and he just had the send. That's fine. On to the final round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I will keep this hand. It can get Loam going to build resources. I have Force Blue card. I have Prismatic Ending if they're a creature deck. Ready. Ready for anything. City of Traders. Voltaic Key. I can Prismatic Ending a Voltaic Key, especially if my opponent doesn't do anything with it. Okay, I'm just going to draw for my turn then. Right, I have to fetch Savannah here for my hand to work, but I am going to remove this key. Any deck that's playing Voltaic Key is planning on using it. That's might feel like a very stupid thing to say, but for real, don't mess around with that card. Okay, we've got a 1 ring. I don't really want that to be part of the game. What am I pitching here? Snap Ending could answer another thing in the future. Teferi is the value. All right, I'm going to keep Teferi and hope they don't have Force of Will in their deck. Okay, got away with that. Very scary opening 2 turns. Can I follow up? Teferi. And I'm just going to draw a card. I know they have permanents I might want to bounce, but I'm much more interested in cards. I do have Force if I can come up with another blue card before it's too late. If they just have like Grim Monolith into another 1 ring that plays here. 4 mana still live. Yikes. All right. Well, bad news, folks. Okay, now we have to beat a 1 ring. How do we do it? Okay. I'm going to plus Teferi. That obviously is happening. And I had to get Savannah earlier, so I don't have Mystic Sanctuary online. That's really rough, actually. Okay, I can Loam as an instant, so I'm just going to play Flooded Strand and pass. It did cost them 2 City of Traders and a Lotus Petal to get to this point. I expect they'll be able to rebuild, but they are just starting from a single blue mana here. Ancient Tomb. Manifold Key, shit. Fudge. Okay. Key. Up to 8 cards in hand. Rings at 3. They've tapped Ancient Tomb. Their own stuff is kind of my win con here, which is a berserk way to try to make a plan, but it's what I got. Another key. So they can draw roughly 9 trillion cards next turn. Get my Hedge Maze. Dump Mystic Sanctuary. Life from the Loam, 3 lands back. Are you worried, opponent? Are you scared of what I'm capable of? Okay, plus Teferi, Mystic Sanctuary, target Prismatic Ending, I guess. That seems like it's going to be way too little, way too late, but I don't know. It's an answer to the 1 ring. What do you want from me? I can't win a game with that card in play. They go to 14 from their ring. I have 1 Force of Will to survive this turn with. Plus 4 cards. At this point, my Force of Will target is going to be something like Glaring Fleshraker. Defense Grid. Shit. Well, that resolves. Another Ancient Tomb. They're at 12. They go to 10. There's the Fleshraker. Good chance I lose, but they know Prismatic Ending's on top of my deck, so we'll see how far this goes. Yeah. I'm a blue card short, I think, of fending off this business for a turn, and now I'm almost certainly dead. Encountering the Defense Grid just doesn't matter here, because the Force is still gone. Assault Monolith. They could still draw 9 cards this turn, and now many of their things are netting mana. Okay. I've seen enough. We've got Null Rod, Meddling Mage, Consigned to Memory. I saw the Seat of the Synod in the deck, which makes me think this deck has either Force of Will or Paradoxical Outcome in it. I don't think I'm going to do anything with that information. It's just information that I'm clocking. Uro's a little slow. Loam doesn't matter. Teferi probably matters very little. Their deck's full of permanents. I actually do like Prismatic Ending. I think I'm going to shave one Swords to Plowshares. The only target in their deck is Urza Saga Constructs or Glaring Fleshraker. And if I have 3 Plows plus 3 Consigns, I could also Meddling Mage Fleshraker if we come to that. Their graveyard doesn't matter. I think this is the plan. It's going to have to work. The last options are bring in Surgicals. So if I counter a One Ring, I can wipe out the rest, or a Fleshraker, I could wipe out the rest. Are their cards bad enough that it doesn't matter? I don't think I need basic planes versus their deck. They're not going to attack my mana. Ponder could be really slow. I don't think I want 2 Surgicals. I want 1, because it doesn't stop them from going off. It just stops them from going off again if they try once and I win the fight. Okay, hand has Wrath of the Skies in it, but it's not doing anything that I need it to. I am going to mulligan. All right, Prismatic Ending at least can interact with their scary permanents. The One Ring is the card that I think is going to be banned next from Legacy, just out there in the world. I am happy with the bans we got. I'm not already complaining. I'm just saying. I don't think One Ring is legal in Legacy in 2026. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Rim Monolith. They're at 4 mana, and they're passing to me. Okay. I can't afford to hedge maze. I have to value Brainstorm here. I'm going to get Tundra and cast Brainstorm. Just condense the game as much as I can. Not super helpful. Get rid of Uro and Teferi. Now I have a really interesting choice, which is play Tamiyo and look at 3 fresh cards, or Prismatic End this Grim Monolith. I think I'm going to Prismatic End the Grim Monolith. Okay, let's get rid of that. They still very likely have 4 mana next turn, but hopefully not 8. Floating Mana in response. Kozilek's Command, I think, is the card that they might actually cast here. Okay, they ended up casting nothing. Cool. Yep, wish I had a Force of Will, but I don't. Null Rod, good draw here. All right, deck. Null Rod. Okay, I could Teferi bounce this One Ring, at least start to tread water a little bit. They're still going up cards, but let's make you buy that thing again. I obviously don't have a counterspell here, so they can do whatever they want. A fetch land does remove the One Ring. Ugh. Oh, that's so much mana. All right, now the One Ring is drawing way more cards, but it draws 3 this turn instead of 5. I'll take it, I guess. Tamiyo, not super helpful. I think I just cast Brainstorm and see what's going on. Consign to Memory, Meddling Mage. Okay, Meddling Mage is really exciting. Let's see if we can make this thing happen. If I put back Tamiyo, gone. Land. Meddling Mage needs to name Glaring Fleshraker, and then I can counter a Kozilek's Command. Glaring Fleshraker cannot be cast by anyone, including me. They do get to draw 800,000 cards. I do have 1 piece of interaction. Prismatic Ending is live on the One Ring next turn if I want it. But One Ring might actually be my win con here. One Ring, Ancient Tomb, plus Anemic Meddling Mage beats. If my opponent has Dismember, they will be able to win this fight easily. If they don't have Dismember, then I could reasonably fend this off long enough to win. Another key. Ancient Tomb has been tapped. All right, they're shredding with the ring. This is 5, 6, 7 damage lined up. They're going to get another turn of this nonsense. I could play my other Teferi, reset the ring, but that gives them protection for a turn. I don't think I want that, but I also don't want them drawing 20 cards off their ring next turn. They played another Ancient Tomb. Okay. 8. So they're at 1 on the board right now. Basalt Monolith. This is worth a lot of mana, but I don't think it's my fight. I'll take key. And maybe that was my fight. I just had to bottleneck them for this turn. I don't know. It's tough. They have 15 cards in their hand still. And Kozilek's Command is the card I'm worried about. Another key. They don't have enough mana to Kozilek's Command twice, which is what I need to be extremely concerned about. All right, well, I'm concerned about that too. I think I lose. Okay, Defense Grid is going to have to resolve, or do I want to consign this? I can cast Consign if I get a next turn. All right. Yeah, I think I was supposed to fight over that Monolith. Yep. heckin' Kozilek's Command leaves them with 2 mana left, which should be enough to jumpstart the chain here. And I'm not attacking for 2 anymore, and Glaring Fleshraker is live. Second grid. Okay. What do I do now? I definitely shuffle. I can't afford to leave them with the ring. I also can't afford for the ring to be in play, just fucked in every direction. I think what I need to do is fetch Hedge Maze and hope to hit Null Rod. Hedge Maze, we're looking for Null Rod. Force of Will, not even close. Teferi could bounce Basalt Monolith. Does that even do anything? It makes them find initial mana sources somewhere, but with their 7 cards in hand and the ability to draw 150 more, I think they could figure it out. And I'm going to bounce the Monolith. Guess I'll cast this Brainstorm. Oh. I did find the Surgical. Okay, so if I put back Swords to Plowshares and Consigned to Memory, I do have a fetch. Get a Savannah. If I Surgical Kozilek's Command, that is one of their win cons. All right, Kozilek's Command Surgicaled. 1 from the hand, 2 from here. They're going to have to do it all natural, which they could probably figure out how to do. And I might as well, I guess, exile one of these Manifold Keys. Okay. Well, they're at 3. They have Ancient Tomb for mana. There's a City of Traders in hand, plus whatever else they draw here. And they're just going to dump out cards, and we'll figure out how well they can deal 14 to me with no Kozilek's Commands in their deck. I imagine they could figure it out. But especially with that Paradoxical Outcome in hand, yeah, that'll be okay. They sack their spawn to tap the ring again. 17 cards in hand. I'm at 12. This Grim Monolith should give them plenty of mana to work with. And a second Fleshraker. Now we're definitely dead. Yeah, I mean, losing as a control deck to a resolved One Ring, all this other shit doesn't matter. Like, there's a bunch of Fleshrakers and defense grids and whatever in play. This is all noise. If we win the fight over the One Ring, like game 1 and 2, were both decided by a One Ring resolving. And in game 1, I fought one of them off and they just had a second one. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan that game. I kept a hand that had a bunch of action in it, or a bunch of conditional action, but it didn't have anything as clean as Consigned to Memory or Force of Will. Okay, good start to the league, and then brought right back down to reality that the metagame hasn't actually changed that much, and all the decks that we hated are still legal. Except for Sowing Mycospawn. I did not get 2 lands destroyed on turn 2 at all in this league. Legacy is still fast. We still have Reanimator to contend with. It just doesn't have Troll anymore. We still have One Ring decks to contend with. That card not addressed in the ban list, update at all. But like I said, I do think that is the next card to go from Legacy. As far as building your deck and mulliganing your hands and making decisions, I feel like I do have the ability to do that again. There are some cards in this deck because Carl wanted to see them, like the Teferi's Response, the Monastery Mentor. Those were special requests from Carl, who sponsored the league. If you want to get super tight with your spots, you probably wouldn't play at least one of those cards, maybe both of them. But as far as making decisions and like, do I mulligan this hand? Do I think they're going to send it turn 1? Those are going to be parts of the format no matter what. And I do feel like we're back to a spot where we're at least making those decisions rather than realizing that a deck like this one is not even structurally viable from the jump. It's fun to be back. Got a lot of value on a Monastery Mentor today. Counterspell was really good in the league. Somebody conceded with Jace the Mind Sculptor on the stack. We count those. Got to play with fun cards again. That's all I want. We'll dial in this. Don't worry, I'll be playing a lot of Control on the channel, trying to figure out the shells that I like. We'll explore Beanstalk. We'll explore 5-color, Bug, Blue-White, whatever the heck. It's all out there, and it's all still viable. I'm excited to be able to put basic lands in my deck and expect them to stay in play. Carl, thank you for sponsoring the league. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.